How am I doing with time?
I think you're doing great. Everything you do is great, Namba-san. We have no complaints from Tech in Asia. So one more time, big round of applause for Namba-san. That was a great talk. Very, very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So my first question is about your baseball team.
We lost yesterday.
But tonight or tomorrow, you're gonna win.
Sure, of course.
Okay, very
Yes.
good, very good. I'm excited to see the DNA Baystars win the Japan series.
Yes.
It'll be a very good time. Can I
For
come
us,
to?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can come to the party.
Of course. You got
Yes.
the
All
ticket.
right. So I'm done with my interview now. Got everything I needed. So I've been interviewing a lot of entrepreneurs around Tokyo, and they often talk about you as a very inspiring figure. One guy even said that he went to a talk of yours. This guy doesn't speak any English. And he said, I heard Namba-san say that I had to have an international business to be successful. So then he just went straight to America. And like that's the sort of impact that you have on people. So what I want to ask is, when you were very young, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Or did you just want to be like a successful business lady?
When I was young,
Yes.
what did I want to be in the future? It changed.
Mm-hmm.
But right after college, I
Right.
joined McKinsey & Company.
Yes.
And I didn't have any idea what consulting was. And I didn't have any ambition or my future vision, just wanted to work hard. So short answer is no. I didn't have any ambition or any future vision of becoming an entrepreneur.
So then you decided to become an entrepreneur, though, during your time at McKinsey. And when you made that switch, was it everything that you expected it to be? Or was it more fun, more hard? What was that experience like, that transition?
Well, it was a lot more fun and a lot harder, too. Well, what was the biggest difference? I had a business plan. You know, I was very good at drawing charts and good at presentations as a management consultant, of course. And I made a fantastic presentation to all the venture capitalists that I was going to turn profitable within a year. I was becoming number one in the industry. And what happened was, you know, we were deep in red as long as 4 years. And we didn't become number one in the industry either. So it was very different. It was hard.
So during that time when it was very hard, did you ever think, you know what? Maybe I'll just go back to being a consultant. Maybe I don't need to be an entrepreneur.
Well, it didn't occur to me, not a single time, in fact. I don't know why. We were in deep tunnel because everybody knew that we were the loser. We were labeled as a loser. And even a management consultant, a young management consultant came to me and drew a picture. It was a chart, matrix, and they positioned me here. You are a dog, you know? And it was, everybody felt that we were an eternal loser. We were in dark tunnel, but I knew there was light, you know, at the end of the tunnel, and I never doubted it. So I never thought of, you know, quitting in the middle. It was if I was an objective management consultant, I would have told to me, stop it. Yeah, there is no chance. But I was never able to be objective about myself.
Well, that turned out to be for the best, because then you had an amazing success.
At the end, yeah.
And so recently, as you mentioned in your talk, DNA has kind of been shifting a little bit. Do you think that had you stayed on as a CEO, do you think that the company would have still been releasing hit games?
Had I been the CEO?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Moriyasu, the CEO, has been doing superb job. And actually, I'm learning a lot from him every day. I am very supportive and confident in his management. If I had done the job, I don't think things would have been different or better. No.
So that's a very interesting point because you're brilliant, Moriyasu-san is brilliant, and the company has still gone through some tough times. So do you think that means that the gaming industry is just kind of random and doesn't make any sense? Do you think that there is a way to win in the gaming industry?
There are a couple of companies that have released several hit games, super hit games. There must be something, and I hope we are getting there too.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of your new projects. You mentioned MyCode earlier.
Yeah.
So MyCode's a very exciting project, and I'd like to hear a little bit more about why you decided to choose that as something you want to put a lot of effort into, and kind of maybe some of the challenges you faced in getting it to be the final product that was just released.
As I mentioned in my speech, I stepped down as a CEO 2011, and for my husband's illness. Till then, we were very healthy, and we were working crazy hours. And so I learned that health is something that you don't realize the importance of till you lose it. So I wanted to produce a service to raise awareness amongst people for the health. And what was your latter question?
It was in the process of making it, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because it's a very complex item.
It's a very complex service, of course. The partnership with Tokyo University is the essential part of it, because we don't have any expertise in medical science or genome science. It's not a medical service, it's a consumer service, but of course it requires a lot of technical expertise. So the partnership with University of Tokyo is everything. It was the enabler. And also, a lot of people in the team have similar experience like me. They are relatives or family members. And so we have lots of emotional and energy for the service. And that is the biggest driving force. Yeah.
I see. So for this sort of service, it seems like it's something that could easily become an international service, because everyone has the same DNA, basically. But in Japan, it's been able to be released. However, similar services in, say, the United States have faced some regulatory issues. What do you think about the ability to bring this service to the overseas audience?
Well, 23andMe, I think you're talking about 23andMe. There must have been some legal issues. Our service is targeted for the Japanese market, and it's fully compliant with the Japanese regulations. So on that point, I'm not concerned. The service is for Japanese and Asians because the risk model, the mutations of your gene tells you the risk probability of getting diseases, or that is based on Asian panel. So.
So wait, can I follow up real fast? I'm no expert on DNA.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, it's that there's similar patterns of DNA in Asia that are a bit different from, say, Europe or America or South America.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, you and me
Yes.
have 99 point some percent same gene.
Right.
Right.
Just a couple differences, maybe.
Just tens of millions, in fact.
Oh, tens of millions. Okay.
You have 3 billion. What you call 3 billion
of those little, the DNA
little
things.
thing. I don't know the English word.
I don't know the English word either.
But anyway, so we are very similar as human beings, but the propensity, the mutations and the illness, the linkage might be different. So for the safety, we'd like to prioritize on Japanese research or research on Japanese panel, and then Asian, because there must be some racial differences.
I see.
Yeah.
So this service will end up spreading to Asia.
Yeah.
What do you think the timeline on that would be?
Well, maybe in a couple of years.
In a couple of years?
Yeah. Because each country has different regulations we have to be careful about, but it should be, appealing to Asian market too.
Cool. So that's something you're already exploring. That's exciting.
If anyone wants to be partner with us, let me know.
So in terms of this is trying to have, preventative healthcare. So you understand the issue in advance. You can take some steps to prevent things getting worse and really take care of your health. What do you think? How do you think this service could be used for very young people? Do you think this could be used for kids? Do you think this could be used for babies or even before birth?
Only for people above 20. Our services is available only for people above 20 years.
So is that where it's always going to be, or do you think it could be slid down that age?
Well, I think it has to be individual will. Individual will has to be respected at most, and you have to be able to make your responsible decisions before deciding to check your gene, of course. There must be some, ethical issues applying the service to young people, and this kind of issue we need to build social consensus. So it's one of our, it's covered in our project with University of Tokyo, but we'd like to be on the safer side. Yeah.
I see. So of all the services that DNA is kind of dabbling in, this one seems to be maybe the most promising. Right now, it's just kind of a single service. What sort of businesses do you think you can build on top of this one service?
Well, Jen is one of the many information, one of many different information about yourself. You have health checkup, and also you go to the hospital, you have the information, and also medicine you take, all different, and life log, for example. So all the information, you have to be the owner of all those information, and you have to make your own decision about your health. It's only a start, of that kind of vision. Be responsible for your own health. Be the owner of your own health. In order to do that, please understand, please consume, please own your information and get professional advice. So that's the whole idea. And as you can tell, genome information is only part of it. So the next step is, you can imagine.
So, no, I can't quite imagine. So that means that DNA could expand and become what, like a one-stop shop for all your medical needs? So you get my code and then you go...
That's the vision. We don't have to be doing it only ourselves, with partnership with other players as well. We like to create a society where people can get their information and make sensible decisions to maintain health. And also start taking actions like exercise or dieting or maybe stop smoking, lots of other things. But I don't want people to feel that healthy activities are serious one. Let's make fun. We have to continue, change lifestyle and continue that. And in order to continue better lifestyle, you need to make it fun. And also, you need maybe community to support you. So entertainment and community are the two, things that we are good at as DNA, with our experience in games and, mobile communities. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to go into this business.
So, from what you're talking about, it sounds as if the future of the company might be shifting in that direction. And this has happened before. You started out as auction and e-commerce, then you went to game industry. So is the future of DNA healthcare industry? Is your company going to be known for healthcare industry in, say, 5 years more than anything else?
Well, we started as an online auction service company, and then shopping mall and mobile and mobile auction, mobile community, social games. we never shifted entirely. We added new business model.
You added new business models, but you're known for right now games, and before you were known for e-commerce. So in the future, do you think that you will be known for healthcare?
I think we will be still known as game and entertainment, content and communication. That's one group of business. The other group of business is, for example, like e-commerce. And one more group of business is perhaps healthcare, and then maybe one or two more. So it will be maybe, depending on what you are interested in, how you call DNA would be different.
Oh, okay. So
it'll be
one last follow-up question, and then I'll move on to another topic. What would a business analyst say about the company? Because the business analyst is going to look at your revenue. So where do you think your main revenue source is going to be? Will it still be the content industry, or maybe something else?
As long as we have synergy between different businesses, we don't really get worried about the identity. But at the moment, of course, maybe for the coming 2 years or so, will be gaming and mobile service. Well, we'd actually called internet service company as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the identity we'd like to pursue. Because healthcare service on the internet, with an emphasis on mobile device, is the current path we are pursuing.
Okay. So I'd like to pick up one thread that you talked about, the identity of being an internet service company. And so recently, the Japanese government has been very supportive of the internet industry, and this was not always the case. So, for instance, right now, there is a couple public-private councils where you have some top government folks and some top business leaders, and they're getting together and they're talking about how to improve Japan's regulatory situation in terms of net companies. I understand that you were on a similar task force in 2003. Can you talk about some of the challenges you faced then versus the progress that we're seeing now?
Well, at that time, I was the only one from the internet industry.
You were the only one?
Yes.
So
yes.
who else was
Everybody
there?
else on the board, I'm not quite sure which task force you're talking about, but maybe 2003, there was the IT strategy task force supporting Prime Minister Koizumi. Right. And I was one of them. Mm. And that time, I was the only one who was was from internet industry. Everybody else was old economy people. And
they had an internet task force, and you were the only one.
IT.
Okay.
So, well, established companies.
Right.
And I was a woman. I was a startup. So maybe everybody thought, we need a startup. We need a woman. We need someone from internet service. And there is a convenient person who, have 3 character traits. So 1 seat, 3, satisfactions. So maybe I was chosen for that reason. But, and I advocated, the government should source from startups, the procurement. But the voice was not listened to. And there was one line, written in maybe like 40 pages of report, but nothing happened. But I think the government today has realized the importance of rejuvenization, paying more attention to new economies and the internet, which is very good. I support it and I really appreciate it. Although, we have to strive ourselves. We can't be spending too much time talking about the government, whether they are pushing us up or pulling us down. It really doesn't matter. It does matter, but we shouldn't be spending too much time discussing it, because we have to help ourselves, and also every market has different set of regulations, and we have to strive to do well in any environment.
Right. So in terms of things that we can do to support ourselves, what are some of the actions that you and your team are doing in order to support, Japan tech as a whole?
We like to be a role model. We are struggling in terms of performance right now, but we are doing the right thing, and I'm confident that our team is strongest ever. So we still have the ambition to become #1 in global market, and that would encourage lots of Asian startups. So that's, rather than talking to the politicians or, molding the regulations or trying to impact on them, we'd like to win in market.
I see. So have you ever thought about being part of a group of other role models? So I think there's like the Japan Association of New Economy that has a lot of Japan tech teams, tech companies represented in there, and that's like a kind of a center. But correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure that DeNA is included in there.
Well, I would like to spend most time for business and product development and the marketing, and that's the fun part.
Right.
Of course, if there are issues that we'd like to support, we'd like to work with our colleagues. But the most important things we still prioritize on business, and satisfying users is the highest priority. Not spending on lobbying or belonging to a group and spending much time on it.
Okay, so if, let's say you had magic power and you could do any one thing, just independently, and it would completely change some sort of regulatory or educational system in Japan, what would it be? Would you get...
I would like to spend time for young people.
Young people.
Educating, the education system in Japan has lots of issues, and it's one of the reasons why we don't see more entrepreneurs. Because, at the age of 5 or 4 even, the training starts not to make mistakes. So it's a mass production of young people who never make mistakes. And so it's very hard for us, educated in Japan, to go beyond common sense. And within the boundary of common sense, there is very little chance of making huge success as an entrepreneur. So what I'd like to spend time, if there was one thing, I can do besides the business, I'd like to spend time, conveying how fun it is to start your own company or your own service. It's really fun and rewarding too.
Yeah, absolutely. And does that mean that maybe we'll see DeNA in the education business in the future?
Well, we've started programming education
Right,
for young people of the first grade, young students, and that's a start. We are not sure if we want to make it huge business or not, but as a corporate social CSR type of activity, we spend a lot of resource on that too. And we believe that it's very important, like Obama said, let's not just download the latest game, but try designing it. That's the kind of spirit I'd like to, foster in Japan too.
Right, I think that's excellent. So I'm getting a signal that we are a bit out of time.
Okay.
I wish we could stay here talking more. But I want to thank you so much for participating in First Ever Startup Asia Tokyo.
Thank you.
Coming all the way to Hikarie. I know the distance is very difficult for you. And I want to give you one more big round of applause. Thank you so much, Namba-san.
Thank you very much.